Well, we have come to the end of Stamp Camp Week of Webisodes, but I know, but we are ending it with a beautiful finish, a glittery, silky, absolutely gorgeous one. You're gonna love it.
From Elizabeth Crafts,
yes.
We have silk microfine glitter, and what I love about it is when you burnish it, it's silky.
Yes, it's very pretty, and we've got 8 different colors and probably 8 different things you can do with them. Come play with us. Well, here they are, all 8 of them, and they come in this container, and I like the fact that it has a wider mouth, so that just makes it easy. Silk, microfine glitter.
They come in, they are half-ounce jars, but that is so much glitter. Microfine glitter goes such a long way.
And you know, I just noticed they're made in the USA. I kind of like that.
Cool.
And this is lavender, this is garnet, we have diamond, and we have black, which I also like.
Right.
Forest green, true red, soft teal, and this looks gold, but it's actually antique silver.
Right. It's called antique silver, but it's got kind of a gold and silver finish to it. So it's very interesting.
Okay, let's see what you can do with them. All right. Here is our first project. Now, this is a Bendy Card, one of our newest, and I love what has, you know, I will tell you, number one, I have not seen a card that was absolutely gorgeous out of this. The Bendy cards are just spectacular.
Right. So they give you that really nice pop. It gives you a platform for doing several different things. Right. And in this case, we have double stick dazzles that have been very simply covered with the glitter.
How hard is that?
Oh, it's so not hard at all. We have lots of different kinds of double stick dazzles, lots to work with. This one in particular happens to be the hearts. So I'm going to start with a little piece of wax paper here. I have it. You can use maybe
use the plastic that comes on the package.
That comes with it.
Now, there is a plastic covering, and what Gail is doing is peeling that back. Don't remove it.
Right.
Leave it attached because you want it to protect the rest of your dazzles.
That's right. But I don't want the glitter all over all of them, and they are double stick, so they're sticky on the top. Once I remove this, I take one of these off. I put that plastic back down, put that away, and then I'm going to set it on this wax paper or, like I said, on a piece of acetate. So that's just going to sit there, and now I've got the purple, lavender silk glitter, and I just sprinkle a little bit of that on there.
And you do have a scrap paper underneath.
I do.
Yeah.
So that I can return whatever is unused, I will return to the jar. And then I start burnishing with my finger. The first time I do this, I'm really sort of pressing it into it. I want to get it all over it. Then I'm going to lift it up and tap it off. Move it over. And it's staticky sticking to the wax, you see, so that does come off. And then I just kind of keep burnishing it. And you do that a few times.
You want to do it 3 times, just like you do with the micro glitter?
Right.
Okay.
Shake it off and do it again until it's mostly coming off. I think if I shake it off now, you'll be mostly seeing what's on that wax paper.
Yeah.
Sort of sticking to it. Anyway, there it is. And then once you do that, then you can lift your dazzle, and you're ready to stick it on your project.
Right.
Which is what was done there.
Right.
Isn't that great?
And I think it's very fun to make these out of, make them into balloons like that, have some of the
That was a
jute.
really cool idea.
Very fun. So you can see the forest green, the teal, and the lavender. The lavender right there. So hearts in different sizes. The stars would be great to do this way. Now, also back here, the Artful Affirmation stamp has been used. So you can see there's the Follow Your Art.
That's great. So that's been heat embossed up here. And then the smaller dazzles, double-sided dazzles, they were placed around it.
I like that.
I do too. I love the jute twine on there. There's a lot of different colors in there. 12 different colors in that pack.
Now I'm going to open this, and then you can see Choose Happiness right down there in the bottom corner.
Sweet.
And that's also part of the same stamp set. Now, when you would mail this, you would just have them flat, and then the recipient would simply take this and tuck it into the slot.
The little slots that are cut and ready to go.
And there's the one on the top.
There, one there, and then you have that three-way little 1, 2, 3
and it stands up like so.
It does. I love the bendy card. It's a lot of fun.
Very, very fun. So we've got, step 1, you can do double stick dazzles.
Yes.
Okay. Step 2, here is another of the new looks in cards. This is the inside out label.
Right. So you've got that label that's been foam taped on the front of it.
Yeah, there's a second label there.
And it has also created a window you can see through. And what we're seeing with the glitter here are 2 different things. You're seeing stamping back here, and then you're seeing it embossed on the top. And the way that Susan was able to, or Lene was able to get the glitter to get on there and stay on there was she mixed the glitter. So in this case, I've got that antique silver glitter, which looks kind of gold, with clear gloss embossing. She mixed it.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
So this is just glitter. It does not have an embossing agent. It's not going to stick to something on its own. She wanted to give it a base that it would stick to. And so the mixture, she said, is about 1/3 clear and 2/3 glitter.
Okay, so you're not just very much, and you're not
very much.
Even though this looks like a lot, you don't really need much.
Right. So there's a little bit of clear embossing powder, and then you're just going to add some of the glitter, about the 2/3 measure, so about 2/3 of the glitter. Yeah. Well, 2/3 to 1/3. She's okay. Oh yeah, 2 to 1. So there you've got, and play with that mix until you get something that you like, and then you use that as your embossing powder.
So you would use the Versamark down.
Then you would use the Versamark.
Isn't that pretty on the edge?
So create your own embossing powder with the silk microfine glitters.
Now the stamp is this little stamp, and I'm really happy that our little stamps, they're such a great deal at $1.49. But it's not just one image, it's 3. So we really always try to use up the space. So spread your wings, and you can see that's been stamped right down there. And then there's a little flourish too. So this is going to open like so. I also noticed that same embossing powder with glitter mixture was used on the edges.
Right, just a little Versamark swiped on the edge of your card and added and heat embossed.
Wow.
It's a very sweet look.
And it really does look very kind of distressed by having the clear embossing powder because you don't see it.
Right, so it's not a solid glitter. It's sort of, you're catching a little bit. This was the black, by the way, mixed. In the bird that you see, the black was mixed with the clear, so it gets a little bit muted.
You mean the black embossing powder?
The black glitter.
Oh,
the black glitter was mixed with so it's still got a little bit of sparkle mixed with the clear embossing powder, so you can see a little bit of sparkle on the bird.
Beautiful look, very rustic look, very vintage, gorgeous. Okay, that's nice. Speaking of gorgeous, here we are. Now we're going into stencils, and this is gorgeous. Okay, contain yourself, Paulette, but I'm not going to because that is gorgeous, and that's using the All Over Swirls, which is just a great stencil.
Right.
And you, my dear, mixed 3 of the glitters.
Well, I didn't. Debbie did.
Debbie did. Okay,
but you will. What I'm going to now, I have double stick adhesive.
Yeah, and we get this from Holland, and I'll tell you why. Because we tested actually every double-sided adhesive we could find, and this was just right. Some were actually too sticky, like the Ultra Tapes. Some were not sticky enough. This was, I felt like Goldilocks. This is just right.
So I have a piece of that double-sided adhesive. I have the All Over Swirls template. And what I'm going to do is remove the top. I'll do that in just a second. And then I'm going to place the stencil on there. But if you do it directly, the stencil really is going to stick to it. It's going to, because it's good adhesive, it's going to be hard to pull off. So there's a step that you have to perform before you do that. And we do that back in tech with a bar of soap. It's an old bar of soap. I don't know what kind it is. I don't think it makes a difference. You want a little
old bar of soap.
You want to get a little bit of the pasty stuff on your finger, and I'm just adding some water to it. You don't want it too wet. You can get more pasty is better.
You're not trying to get suds.
Right.
You're just getting a little bit of
there. You can, if you can see it on your fingers, then you're ready to go.
Show it that again.
Okay, you can
see it's shiny.
Yeah, you get a little bit of something on there, and you put that all over the back of your stencil. If you don't want your stencil to stick to that adhesive, I might even add a little bit more water. That's how we do it. Gosh, I think it was about a year ago that we found it somewhere online. So we found this technique and we go, yay, because it can be so hard to remove the stencils from the really, really strong adhesive. And make sure I get it all over because I really don't want it to stick, and I want you to see it coming off. And I think even if it dries a little bit, that's all right, because basically you've got this film of soap on the back of your stencil.
Okay.
Now
You're going to try to do this with soap on your fingers,
yeah.
are you? Here, let me do this.
I can do
okay?
it. Yeah,
right.
There we go. I'm removing that. See, because
so one of the papers.
It's not going to stick to me. Now, soap side down right onto the double-sided adhesive.
Okay.
Okay, so that'll still stick just enough to where you can now start, thank you, I'll take that. Now you can start using, I am going to wipe my fingers off now.
I thought you might want
glitter. The glitter is going to be sprinkled on there, and we're going to start burnishing.
Okay.
And she did it
Whoops.
Oh, man. One of those moments in my brain. It's just okay.
I've never done that.
And,
yes, I have.
I think what I'll do is possibly cover one half of this just lightly.
Good idea.
Because she did it in half. She sprinkled one half on, and then she sprinkled the other half on and burnished it. So I'll do it about in half. Sprinkle it with the blue. I hope you're seeing it. And the teal.
It looks blue to me, but they call it soft teal.
And whatever, it's not going to bother me to put a lot on there. Right. It's all going to come off. And I'm going to sort of burnish it in a little bit, make sure that it's all over.
Right.
And so I'm getting this within the areas of that stencil, getting it in between all of those little areas. And then I'm going to tap it off. Off of that, and tap it off like so.
Okay.
And I would burnish that a couple more times. Yeah, one more, because now we're going to do the purple on the other side. I'm not going to make this perfect because I don't want to take all of our time doing just this one thing, but I do burnish it again. And I'm just going to take that off right here, and then I'm going to do purple on the other side.
And you don't have to do the black cardstock this time,
because
it's whatever is left.
Just shake it. And now see, it'll get on top of that blue, but we've already burnished in the blue. And so I don't have to worry about it sticking to where the blue is. Go ahead and burnish it in. I'm going to do this one real quick. Make sure that it's getting all over.
I love that color combination.
I do too.
So pretty.
Okay, there you go. And then you see in the center area where it's... Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is remove this, and we'll just leave it right here if you want. It'll be fine. I'm going to remove this, and then you're ready to add the gold or the silver.
Should I bring this under?
I'm not going to do it.
No, you're not. Okay.
Then you're ready to, because if you add the silver at this point, it's going to go in all of those yellow areas, and then you burnish it in, and you'll get what you see on the card.
Now, the yellow that you were seeing was the paper on the back side of the adhesive.
Right.
So
right. Once you're done, you peel off the back and stick it to your card.
And I'm sure you noticed, but Gail used a smaller piece of the double-sided adhesive than her card size.
Right.
So it was a little bit smaller, but look, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
Just beautiful.
Look at that.
I love the gold.
Gorgeous.
And when I first looked at that, and I go, wait a minute, how did you get the gold? How did you get the gold on there in between? And so that was, you do the others, you lift the stencil, and then it will take the gold.
And I do have to take a moment to talk about that little button. This comes in an assortment of, just giant assortment of gold buttons. And just wanted you to know about that. It's on, of course, on the website.
All right.
So you can see that. Okay, so stencils and stamps and mixing it with glitter.
And what's next?
Look at this. This is beautiful. This is beautiful.
If you lift a little bit, get that shimmer, you can really see it. And that is embossing with sticky embossing powder, and then adding the glitter.
So that is That's so gorgeous.
And this is from the Botanical Frames
It
stamp
is.
set, which that always makes a beautiful impression no matter what you do with it seems like.
So using this large one and then also using one of the small ones.
Right. So I have a piece of ivory cardstock here. Okay. I've got the small stamp, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp and emboss with the sticky embossing powder. And so there we go.
And as you showed us earlier in the week, this you want to only do the embossing, the heat gun until what? It's clear?
Just until it turns clear. You don't want to do it any longer than that. So I've that's Versamark. Now I've got the sticky embossing powder on there. And I'm going to tap that off once that's on there. Let me get my heat gun, and then I will heat emboss that. And it doesn't take very long.
And just until clear, so don't overheat it.
There
see, just a moment. Wow, it's done.
Done. So it's clear, and that's what's cool about the sticky embossing powder is that it. Yeah, let's use another.
Okay.
And I'm not going to shake these on. I'm going to use a paintbrush so I can apply it right where I want it.
I was wondering how it got different colors within it. Okay.
So let's start.
So red for the flower.
Red for the flower, and I just start sort of applying it, and I just sort of dab up and down. I don't want to, if I go like that, it'll sort of spray all over everything. So I'm picking it up. The static sort of picks it up onto your brush, and then just start dropping it in. And I sort of left the center for gold, but right now I'm just going to show you. You can put gold on the center. This time I'm just going to do it in red just so you can see it appear pretty quickly. Up and down motion. And then I took the garnet, I'm dipping it.
Which is interesting because that's also a deep, deep red.
Right, and I just went around the edges with that one.
So pretty.
And add a little bit more as needed.
You are going to amaze your stamping friends. That's all there is to it.
Okay, and then just sort of brush it off the edges, and then I will tap it off. And you could...
You going to heat it?
No.
Oh, that's right.
No,
you don't.
That's it. That's sticky embossing
right.
powder. That's on there. The steps are done, and there you go.
Gorgeous.
So paint anything you want with all different colors of the...
Let me bring this back in because there's the one that she just did. You can see the silver in the center. That is spectacular.
That's a fun one.
Gorgeous.
It's great adding the... I love the gold or silver, antique silver, which looks like gold, on the centers.
Yeah.
It was fun to add the little blue flowers around the edges.
I also like your taking the smaller one and foam taping on top of the larger. I think that's a nice... Enjoy the moment is also part of that stamp set. So you get happy everything, enjoy the moment, heartfelt condolences, and always thinking of you. So those are nice sentiments. That's gorgeous.
I love it on the darkroom papers. The colors of it really lended to that very well.
It does. Okay, more.
Okay.
Now this is interesting. So this is using the little girl with wings, and birthday wishes is part of it, and happy thoughts are the other two stamps on here.
You've got that window in the front, which was cut with the 3 lacy labels, and then you've got a nice little border on the outside of it. But right in the center of that, you also have the heat-resistant acetate.
Right.
And it's an important step using the heat-resistant acetate. Not just any acetate will do. And the first thing that occurred here is that in black stays-on ink, the little girl was stamped on the front of the acetate. Okay, so now you've got a piece of acetate with that little girl stamped on the front. It looks a little different, but that's what happened first. Then we turned it over, and on the back, we used a Versamarker pen and colored in, with the Versamarker pen, colored in the entire image on the back. Let me see. I'm going to put this, so that you can see it, I'm going to put white cardstock in there. There we go. We colored the entire image over with the Versamarker pen, then sprinkled it with more of that sticky embossing powder. Heated it until it is at that sticky state. Am I right about that? Yeah, that's right. And then applied
the diamond.
The diamond which I haven't done yet. All you're seeing on there is the sticky embossing powder. I'm going to go ahead and add this. I will say that I put the sticky embossing powder on there quite a while ago. I'm hoping that it's still sticky. It's kind of best if you do it right away. We'll see if it still works. But it would stick to the sticky embossing powder, just like so.
And it's really nice to see that your hands are messy. I appreciate that, because that's how I look.
That's the way it works. And it's staticky. It's going to stick like to the acetate, so I'm wiping it off around it.
So now you have it glittery.
Yeah, look at that.
That is pretty.
So now you've got it glittery. Yeah. You could leave it like that.
You definitely could.
You've got a nice glittery
you
little
could
girl
leave
on the back.
like the wings glittery.
Sure. Or you can go on to a next step and color that in. So I've got Spectrum Noir pens, a few different sets. Pick the colors that you like and start coloring. I'm going to use an up and down motion, not a back and forth.
Right, that's important.
I don't want to remove the glitter, but you can color it in just with whatever colors you want it to
So
be.
this is the same process with the pens as we would use on the micro glitter.
Yes.
So on the silk glitter.
So it takes a minute to get that in, because I'm not going to go back and forth.
But it's spreading.
It is, yeah. So you can get the colors if you want to. You can get the little, you can get the little red shoes, because you got to get the little
Okay, well, I'm really glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, that's important. And then when you turn it over, you can see the colors.
Very nice.
That shine through.
And here she is, all perched in her window. And you can see, and I'm going to turn this over just so you can see the back side. So that's what the back side looks like, but magically, with the stamping in place, that and her red shoes, that's what the front looks like.
I just like that idea. I love the idea of the stays on the front, and then you do the rest of the stamping and embossing on the back, and it's just kind of a neat look.
I think it's also cute that she's standing on something inside, and so there's a border dazzle. We've got Happy Thoughts being sent along the bottom there, and the jewel dazzles, just really sweet. This is the Unforgettable papers, and just makes a beautiful statement to hold her.
It's a beautiful card.
Absolutely gorgeous. And we have one more.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if we're up to 8, but I feel like we're up to 8. And look at this. Wow. Now we have shown the postcard stamp several times in this week. And each time it's a different look, it's a different feeling, and wow.
Okay, and what we're going to start with is not that stamp, but the background that the stamp is sitting on. And so from the Roses and Lace paper pack, I've got this sort of a pale green paper.
Super pale.
And Susan took the translucent embossing paste and that antique silver glitter.
That looks like gold.
Right. And she mixed them together first.
She did.
She did. So I've got one of the larger palettes from our palette kit. These are great. There's all different sizes. I love them. And she mixed she said about a tablespoon of the translucent embossing paste.
Okay.
With about, let's see, what did she say? With about 1/8 of a teaspoon of the glitter. Very tiny. So I'm actually going to remove that. I think that's about 1/8 right there.
I think it's a generous 1/8, though. That's good.
Okay.
That's fine.
It's not going to hurt to do a little bit more, but that's about approximately how much you will need, and then you're going to mix them. So just mix them together, and this is all you're going to need to make a background. So you'll have the translucent paste you're going to be able to see through it. So what you're going to end up seeing is just the glitter on that paper. Okay. So that's pretty well mixed.
Of course, the translucent is going to dry clear.
Right
now you're seeing it white.
It's white.
Right.
So now I'm going to pick some of that up and start moving it,
spread
it across the paper in kind of a thin layer.
That's what I was just going to ask you, how much. So just enough to see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you won't really be able to see the lines or anything. It's going to dry, and you're going to see the glitter.
Okay.
And that's what she did in a size large enough that would accommodate that stamp. Now, you're not seeing anything here.
So don't worry about those lines. That's just fine. Okay.
But what I do want to show you is that once it's done, we have stamped it on acetates, and then that's going to sit right on top of it, and it's going to get the look that you see on the card.
So after that dries, you are going to have this amazing look of that glittery background.
Isn't that just beautiful?
And I appreciate that it's not a solid, that they're, you know, it's just mixed in.
It
with
is. So you can see a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, a little heavier. I want to show you something else that I tried. Once I saw it, I thought, what would it be like if you stamped on the acetate and just put that mixture on the back?
Sure.
So here it is on the back. It's not completely dry because I didn't do it too long ago, but you can see some of the dry. So you can see those streaks on there, but when you turn it over, it's just really...
Let's put it against a white background.
It really doesn't register.
Okay.
So
and if you had that same color...
which is pretty...
Which has been used.
I can't really use it now. But, well, kind of on the gray, you can sort of...
Or on this yellow.
On the yellow. There you go. So it's similar. It's a similar. So whatever you think works best for you.
That's nice.
But I kind of like it just through it, see-through as well. Once it all dries, you won't see that cloudiness that you're seeing.
Black.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's nice.
Isn't that sparkly?
Cool.
Okay.
So like I said, once that dries, that'll all be clear, just like you're seeing around here, around the edges. I feel like Anne. This is like an Anne thing.
It is. I feel like I want to try different colors behind it. Okay.
So whenever you're done.
I just think that's pretty.
Oh, purple. Let's do purple.
Okay, I'm happy.
Let's make a card.
Okay, so there's the final look, excuse us. And we've got a thank you, and then on the inside, some of the butterflies were done.
Right, do the same thing and then cut out the butterflies individually.
And I like, because you're getting the sparkle of the acetate with the glitter. Gorgeous.
And sort of that muted stamping on top of it. That's just a really genius look.
So that is it. We've had a full week of stamp camp, and thank you for joining us, and thank you to the design team and to Teresa for absolutely wonderful projects.
Great, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next week.